24.2 inches. That is how much snow has already buried Freehold Township, New Jersey, and the storm is still going. Right now, at this very moment, a once-in-a-generation nor'easter is unfolding across the entire eastern seaboard. We have never seen blizzard warnings issued for every single county in New Jersey simultaneously. Not once, not in recorded history, until today. Here is exactly what you are going to get in the next few minutes. I will give you the precise snowfall totals for your specific city, the exact hour-by-hour timeline of when this storm hits hardest, which areas are still in danger right now, and the one wind speed number that is forcing officials to call this the most extreme winter event in a decade. Not general information, exact numbers, exact times, your city, your forecast. Washington, D.C. thought it was safe. It got 3 to 4 inches, but Boston, New York, and Philadelphia? An entirely different story, and what happened overnight is the kind of thing meteorologists will still be talking about 20 years from now. But here is the part that should concern you most. The storm is not finished, and the worst consequences are only beginning to surface. Here is the important part. The National Weather Service confirmed 15 inches of snow at Central Park in New York City, the most significant snowstorm Manhattan has seen in more than 5 years, since the 17.4-inch event between January 31st and February 3rd, 2021. At John F. Kennedy International Airport, also 15 inches, and hundreds of flights were canceled before the snow even stopped falling. But that was not the worst of it. Out on Long Island, Quogue reported 23.5 inches. Islip recorded 22.5. In New Jersey, Freehold Township hit 24.2 inches. Lower Makefield Township and Fairless Hills in Pennsylvania both reached 20.5 inches. And in Bridgeport, Connecticut, 16 inches had already accumulated by Monday morning, with more still falling. Here's what nobody else is telling you right now. This bomb cyclone dropped atmospheric pressure to approximately 970 millibars overnight. That is the equivalent of a Category 1 hurricane, but instead of rain and surge, it delivered snow at rates of 2 to 3 inches per hour across the most densely populated corridor in the United States. If you live anywhere from Baltimore to Boston, pay close attention to what comes next. The scale of this event is historic. But the real danger, the one that is going to affect millions of Americans over the next 48 hours, is still unfolding. To understand why Winter Storm Hernando hit as hard as it did, you need to understand what a bomb cyclone actually is. When a low-pressure system deepens by at least 24 millibars within 24 hours, meteorologists call it bombogenesis rapid, explosive intensification. Think of it like a pressure cooker releasing all at once. The atmosphere dropped to 970 millibars overnight, and that rapid pressure collapse is what transformed a significant snowstorm into a historic blizzard. But here is the critical detail that most coverage is missing. The storm also underwent a slight eastward track shift in the final 12 to 24 hours before it fully developed. That shift, just 10 miles in some locations, was the difference between inland communities seeing 4 inches of snow versus coastal areas picking up a foot or more. Washington, D.C., which started as rain before transitioning to snow, ultimately recorded only 3 to 4 inches well south and west of the storm's heaviest snow band. Meanwhile, coastal New Jersey and Long Island are measuring totals in the mid to upper 20s. 10 miles of track. That is the margin of difference between a manageable storm and a historic disaster. Could this shift have been better predicted? High-resolution models flagged the possibility of an eastward drift, but communicating that level of uncertainty to the public is genuinely difficult. And when a storm of this magnitude is at stake, the consequences of getting it wrong go far beyond inconvenience. Before we get into the hour-by-hour breakdown, drop your city and state in the comments right now. I am reading every single comment and responding with specific information for your location. Thousands of viewers have already done this today and are getting targeted updates they are not finding anywhere else. Do not wait. Tell me where you are watching from. But the timeline of how this storm unfolded overnight, that is the part that will put everything into perspective. Here is your critical timeline. Sunday afternoon, Washington, D.C. Rain transitions to clumpy, wet snowflakes. Most of the region expects a significant accumulation. Do not be fooled by what came next. The storm was only just beginning, but the track had already shifted east, sparing the capital but setting up the coast for something far worse. By Sunday evening, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and southern Connecticut are all seeing heavy snowfall, rates of 1 to 1.5 inches per hour. Newark Airport ceases operations early Sunday night, with 18.3 inches ultimately recorded. Travel bans go into effect across New Jersey. By 10 p.m. Sunday night, New York City receives urgent emergency alerts on millions of cell phones simultaneously. Non-emergency travel banned on all streets. The first blizzard warning for the city since 2017 is now fully active. Midnight to 4 a.m. Monday, February 23rd. This is when the storm reaches its most extreme intensity. The bomb cyclone is now fully offshore. Snowfall rates surged to 2 to 2.5 inches per hour across Long Island, southern Connecticut, and Rhode Island. Near Cape Cod and southeastern Massachusetts, isolated rates approach 3 inches per hour. Visibility drops to near zero. Wind howls at 50 to 60 miles per hour along the New Jersey and Delaware coast. At Long Island, Cape Cod, and Nantucket, gusts top 70 to 80 miles per hour. Power lines down, trees snapping. By early morning Monday, the wind reaches its most dangerous peak across southern New England. Boston records gusts near 70 miles per hour. Cape Cod and Nantucket approach 80. This is the climax of the bomb cyclone, and it will not begin to ease until late morning. By sunrise Monday, Freehold Township, New Jersey has 24.2 inches on the ground. Quogue, Long Island has 23.5. Islip, 22.5. Pennsylvania's Lower Makefield Township and Fairless Hills, 20.5, and the snow has not stopped yet. Through Monday morning, the heaviest snowfall shifts northeast. Boston, Cape Cod, Foxborough, Massachusetts. The National Weather Service is forecasting localized totals near 30 inches in that corridor before it is over. The situation was about to get much worse in one critical way, and we will cover that in the next section. Picture this. It is 2 in the morning across New Jersey. You cannot see the end of your driveway. The wind is not just blowing, it is howling at 60 miles per hour, shaking windows, bending trees. Snow is coming down horizontal. You can hear something crack outside, and then the lights go out. The house gets cold fast. That is not a hypothetical. That is what 28,000 homes and businesses across Monmouth County, New Jersey experienced overnight. 9% of all customers in the county lost power, according to poweroutage.us, and that number continued climbing through Monday morning. This is not hype. This is not exaggeration. The governors of New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Connecticut all declared statewide emergencies. New York City's mayor declared a state of emergency and ordered all non-essential vehicles off city streets from Sunday night through noon Monday. Schools across the city's entire public school district, the largest in the nation, closed completely, with no remote instruction. Not a delay, a full closure. Here is the important part that puts this into scale. Remember those blizzard warnings we mentioned, the ones that covered every single county in New Jersey simultaneously for the first time in history? That was not a precaution. That was an accurate forecast. And for the 100% of New Jersey residents under that warning, this became the most dangerous night of the winter season. In New York City, 15 inches in Central Park. On Long Island, 23.5. In Pennsylvania, 20.5 inches just outside Philadelphia. In Connecticut, 16 inches in Bridgeport. The storm did not pick favorites. It buried the entire corridor from Maryland to Maine. If you are watching this from anywhere in the Northeast, drop your location in the comments right now. I am tracking specific conditions by city and will respond with what you should expect in the next 12 to 24 hours. Thousands of people are already doing this. Do not sit this out. Here is the important part that affects everyone, not just the people shoveling out right now. This is not just a snowstorm. We are looking at a simultaneous transportation collapse, a regional power crisis, and a postal and delivery shutdown all happening at once across the entire Northeast corridor. Flight tracking site FlightAware confirmed more than 5,300 flights canceled as of 11 a.m. Monday alone. Aviation analytics firm Cirium noted more than 25,000 flights were originally scheduled to depart the United States today, with cancellations also rising for Tuesday, particularly at major Northeast airports. Republic Airways, which operates regional service for United Airlines, Delta Airlines, and American Airlines, recorded more than 850 canceled flights. JetBlue Airways followed with nearly 800 flights affected. On the ground, NJ Transit suspended all bus, light rail, access link, and statewide rail services. The Rhode Island Public Transit Authority suspended all services, including paratransit, through at least the end of Monday. Connecticut barred commercial vehicles from limited-access highways entirely, and the United States Postal Service warned that storm conditions could delay the processing, transport, and delivery of mail and packages across the region. But here is what most people do not realize right now. Power outages from this storm, driven by a combination of wet, heavy snow, sticking to lines, and sustained wind gusts of 60 to 80 miles per hour, may not be resolved for days. The last time the Northeast saw wind and snow combine at this intensity was years ago, and the combination of downed trees, saturated snowpack, and frozen road conditions means crews cannot safely access many of the affected areas until the storm fully exits. Schools will likely remain closed Tuesday, possibly Wednesday as well. New York Governor Kathy Hochul activated 100 National Guard members to assist in Long Island, New York City, and the lower Hudson Valley before the storm reached peak intensity. New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani declared a state of emergency and personally urged every resident to stay home, ordering non-essential municipal employees to work remotely and closing city offices to in-person services. The United Nations headquarters complex in Manhattan closed entirely. New Jersey Governor Mickey Sherrill declared a statewide emergency effective Sunday noon and initially placed a travel ban through 7 a.m. Monday. By Monday morning, she extended it to noon, citing the greater-than-expected accumulation. Her message on social media was direct: give road crews the space they need. Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey declared an emergency and told all state workers to stay home. Connecticut moved independently to restrict commercial vehicles on highways. The Federal Emergency Management Agency faced its own challenges. Reuters reported last week that the Trump administration had ordered FEMA to suspend the deployment of hundreds of aid workers to disaster-affected areas while the Department of Homeland Security navigates a funding lapse. Despite that, the Department of Homeland Security confirmed Monday that FEMA's disaster response operations continue uninterrupted, with life safety and property protection remaining top priorities. But questions remain. With FEMA operating under constrained capacity and National Guard resources focused on the Northeast's most densely populated areas, what happens in the rural communities of Maine, New Hampshire, and interior Massachusetts, where road crews are already stretched thin and power outages could last longer? That answer is still developing. Here is the important part about what this storm means going forward. Winter Storm Hernando is not an isolated anomaly. It is the latest data point in a pattern of increasingly intense nor'easters affecting the eastern seaboard. When atmospheric pressure collapses to 970 millibars and produces snowfall at 3 inches per hour, that is not a routine winter storm. That is a meteorological event that reshapes infrastructure planning, emergency response protocols, and public preparedness in ways that will take weeks and months to fully assess. Here is what nobody else is covering yet. The Pineapple Express, atmospheric river, now targeting Northern California, is moving simultaneously with this nor'easter, a reminder that extreme weather is not a Northeast problem. It is a national pattern. Northern California faces flooding risk through Wednesday as warm, moisture-heavy air from the tropics melts last week's Sierra Nevada snowpack. The National Weather Service has already issued a Level 2 excessive rainfall risk for the Northern Sierra on Tuesday. And here is the future concern that should be on your radar. Long-range models are beginning to show another potential winter weather pattern developing in the second week of March. It is too early for specifics, but the atmospheric setup bears watching. I will have a full breakdown as those models come into better agreement. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss that update. The lesson from Hernando is this: a 10-mile track shift separated inland communities receiving a manageable 4 inches from coastal areas buried under 2 feet. The margin between a nuisance and a historic disaster is smaller than most people think. Preparedness is not optional. It is the only variable you can actually control. You have been warned. You have the information. What you do with it is up to you. One final question for the comments. Do you think communities along the eastern seaboard are truly prepared for storms of this intensity becoming more frequent? Or are we still treating each one as a surprise we did not see coming?